Hey! Do any of you know what Mrs. Nidlinger was talking about today when she said we're going to be watching a podcast on literary naturalism? Yes, I know what she was talking about. How do you know what literary naturalism is? I am very intelligent, and I do a lot of reading. Oh, well, could you help me out a little bit? I'm confused. Sure. What do you want to know? First of all, I've never heard of the term literary naturalism before. What exactly is it? It's pretty simple, actually. Literature is broken up into time periods just like history. Naturalism is just one of the literary time periods. Oh, well, that sounds easy. What does it have to do with history? Writers have always based their writing on what's going on in society and the state of the country at the time. So what did writers focus on during the naturalism time period? One of the key themes of these writers was survival and determination. Often the conflict in these stories was a fight for survival. That's interesting, especially since we have been studying survival for the past 2 weeks. Although the stories were non-fiction, they all had survival as their theme. Earlier this year, Mrs. Nidlinger talked about conflict. This type of conflict, fight for survival, would be considered man versus man or man versus himself. You seem to know a lot. What else can you tell me? Naturalists believe that life is determined by environment, heredity, and chance. In other words, only the fittest survive. It's like the saying, survival of the fittest. Does naturalism have anything to do with the novel Mrs. Nidlinger said we're getting ready to read? Absolutely. The Call of the Wild is a classic novel by Jack London. Much of Jack London's work deals with the struggle for survival of strong men driven by primitive emotions. What's the novel about? It sounds like a book you would really like. The Call of the Wild describes the adventures of Buck, a dog taken from California to the Yukon. Buck learns to be brutal in order to survive. I can hardly wait to get started. Okay. Let me see if I've got this straight. First of all, literary naturalism is a literary time in history. Correct. Naturalistic writers focused on the themes of survival and determination. The conflict always focused on the fight for survival. In addition, naturalists believe that life is determined by environment, heredity, and chance. In other words, only the fittest survive. I think I've got it. It's really not that difficult. Once you understand this concept, it will make the novel so much easier to understand. I like reading stories about determination and survival. I definitely have a basic understanding of what naturalistic writers, like Jack London, wrote about. I like survival stories, so I really think I will like the novel. Don't forget to finish the podcast tonight. There's a short assignment for tomorrow. Thanks for your help. No problem. You owe me dark chocolate.